to advance the Endless Frontiers Act by a vote of 24 to 4. 24 to 4. We're now one step closer to passing a bill that will keep our country one step ahead in science and technology for decades to come. It's my intention for the Senate to take up the Endless Frontier Act next week in a package with legislation to strengthen our alliances and partnerships, invest in the American semiconductor industry, ensure that China pays a price for its predatory actions, and boost advanced manufacturing, innovation, and critical supply chains. For decades, American prosperity has been anchored by our unmatched capacity for innovation and invention in science and in technology. American innovation propelled American industry, and an American workforce brought those innovations to the global economy. But, unfortunately, federal underinvestment in sciences has seen our country slip, exposing critical weak spots in our economy. And if we don't fix them, we will no longer be the #1 economic leader in the world in the decade to come. So it's an imperative that we do this. And this is for our future for jobs, our future for economic leadership, our future for world leadership. All boils down to science, something that was ignored, unfortunately, by the last administration, but fortunately, bipartisan unity in this Senate is bringing us back on the page that we need to do science. The Endless Frontier Act would right the ship by making one of the largest investments in American innovation in generations, allowing the U.S. to outcompete countries like China, create more good-paying jobs, and harden our economic and our national security as well, because this bill is vital to national security as well as to economic security. I want to really applaud Chairwoman Cantwell, Ranking Member Wicker, and my partner in the Endless Frontier Act, Senator Young, all of whom worked hard, long, diligently, and effectively in a bipartisan fashion to move this legislation through regular order. The full Senate will consider, and I believe should finish, this important legislation before the end of the month with strong bipartisan support. On judges and on nominees. Over the past several months, the Senate has moved quickly to confirm nominees to serve in President Biden's cabinet and throughout his administration. The Senate also has a constitutional duty to provide advice and consent on the president's judicial nominations, and the Senate will begin to fill judicial vacancies very soon. This morning, the Judiciary Committee is holding the first markup for a slate of President Biden's judicial nominations, including 2 circuit nominees and 3 district court nominees, who will all receive a vote in the committee next week. The Senate is now going to scale up our efforts to fill more than 80 vacancies in the federal judiciary. It's no secret, lacking a robust legislative agenda, the Republican majority under President Trump focused on judges, confirming around 200. President Obama, in his 8 years, appointed 320. So even though on a 4-year to 4-year basis, Trump did more, overall Obama has a greater effect on the judiciary than Trump. Now President Biden has the opportunity to fill more than 80 vacancies, likely more. Under this Democratic majority, the Senate will swiftly and routinely take up President Biden's appointments to the federal bench. It will redress the imbalance that the Trump administration caused by choosing so many judges who were so far hard right, way out of the mainstream, not just of the American people, but even of the Republican Party. Under this Democratic majority, we are going to swiftly and routinely take up President Biden's appointments to the federal bench to restore some balance. And I must say, President Biden's judicial candidates provide a stark contrast to the caliber of President Trump's nominations. President Biden's nominees are qualified, mainstream, and actually reflect the diversity of the country. Many have spent years as public defenders, an experience that's sorely lacking on the federal bench. They also include the first Native American to be nominated to the federal court, the second ever Puerto Rican, and the second black woman to sit on the Second Circuit in my home state of New York. I'm very proud of that. That's a far cry from what we got under President Trump and then Majority Leader McConnell. For 4 years, the Republican leader turned the Senate into a conveyor belt for inexperienced lawyers, many with deeply radical views on women's choice, voting rights, criminal justice, and civil rights. A few of them were so extreme on the issues of race and voting that Republican senators joined with Democrats to reject those nominations. With President Biden, we're going to bring balance back to the federal judiciary by confirming judges who are beholden to the law, not some far-right agenda. And on another issue in the Judiciary Committee, this morning the Judiciary Committee will also vote on a very important nominee to the Department of Justice, Kristen Clarke, to serve as the Assistant AG for Civil Rights. The daughter of Jamaican immigrants, Ms. Clarke is extremely well qualified and capable civil rights attorney who would be the first black woman to ever fill her position at the Justice Department. But her obvious quality did not stop a few of our Republican colleagues from trying to smear her record. The political right seems to relish in trying to score political points by connecting every Justice Department nominee, many of whom happen to be women of color, to hot-button partisan issues, whether or not they have any relevance. In Ms. Clarke's hearing, it reached a point of absurdity when she was grilled on an obviously satirical piece she published for her college newspaper. Just like Ms. Vanita Gupta, who I'm proud to say is now the Associate Attorney General, Ms. Clarke was treated by the minority on the Judiciary Committee like some hair-raising radical, despite her record, her qualifications, and her support from all sides. And just like Ms. Gupta, Ms. Clarke has been endorsed by the nation's most powerful law enforcement organizations, including the International Association of Chiefs of Police and the Major Cities Chiefs Association. Ms. Clarke's an outstanding nominee, and I urge all of my colleagues on Senate Judiciary to advance her nomination today. With that, I yield the floor and note the absence of a quorum.
Clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Baldwin.